Hello, I'm Doug Alford. I'm from the Inde Ed Project, stands for Independent Education. About 30 years ago, my kids entered elementary school and they weren't getting science in their classroom.
Geez.
And so I worked for Boeing at the time, and I got every other Friday off, and I started volunteering teaching science. And so that went on for years, and they got all this data, and we talked about how telephones are made and how you use electromagnets and how you do all this fun stuff. Then it became cool. It wasn't cool for Dad to go to school anymore, and they sat on the shelf for a decade.
Oh.
Ender, my second wife was born in Thailand, adopted by Americans. She saw all these projects and said, we'll finish them up and we'll give them away in Thailand. So we finished the books, we gave them away, and they were well received. And so we had lots of fun with them. We said, well, we've given them away to Thailand. Let's keep giving them away around the world. So we put them onto Google Play and tried it, translating it to Chinese, nothing because of all the firewalls. Translated into Hindi and didn't know it, but in 2016, Google was just, or Amazon was just going to Hindi, India, and they promoted our books. We had nothing to do with it. 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, 1.5 million later. So to date, 5 million around the world have been downloaded for free.
That's awesome.
Most of them by English as second language. But we just got back to the US right before the pandemic. It's like we need to try and reach with people that are here. And so most of the team that helps us, English as a second language. So we definitely have some typos and some things and some polish that we need. But let me see, let me start out with, so that's who we are. We're passionate about STEM because so many people we teach are outside the US. They said, hey, you got to teach us English as well. And it's like, okay, so then we got a bunch of English books and a bunch of reading books as well. But science is the passion.
Yeah. And
my background is I'm a manufacturing and production engineer by background, by training. And then so I love the science, right? I'm a scientist at heart, and it's fun explaining complicated subjects in easy ways.
Good.
And that's the niche. So here's the catalog, and at the end of this, we'll find a way to get you all free copies. So we're a nonprofit, 501c3 profit, nonprofit organization. In England, they call them charitable organizations. So we put it together to call it a nonprofit charitable organization because we're trying to reach people around the world. They got it covered.
Yep.
It actually costs money. It doesn't make money, but we're having lots of fun. We've got about 100 titles, short stories, about 50 videos that go along with it. And we just started a trilogy. It's going to be 1,500 pages when we're done. And this is the first 500 pages. It's available on Amazon. The second book of this just went to the editor, and the third one's going to be done hopefully by January. So then we'll have that. Once we have all that, we'll take it and we slice and dice the subjects. Teachers have said, hey, we know you got a book with everything, but we want it by topic. And so here's one on airplanes, how airplanes work, near and dear to my heart, how cars work. I got to live in Japan and got to go to Toyota, see how they made the cars.
I drive one.
how computers work, right? I had a chance to work in San Jose, and I got to go to Silicon Valley a lot of the museums there and gather that source data. So we gather source data wherever we can. We capture it, we put it out. We just need people using it and give us feedback, honest feedback, how to make it better. And we just want to keep giving it away. That's who we are. Any questions? That was kind of a fire hose.
Well, do you have any sponsors that help you pay for this, or is this out of your pocket?
So today we have a very small group of dedicated donors, most of it family. So we're hoping that the Boeing company is going to be able to provide some money the next year. So, but we're real small. We spent all our energy, our small team, in making the content, getting it available digitally, and giving it away, right? And so we've got to do better at reaching out people. But I think part of it was we just started getting them professionally proofread. So now we're doing that. We'll have more confidence to get them out there, get them more mainstream, and hopefully we can get more and more users like you fine gentlemen. Yeah, well. Listen to this online.
What's the trilogy about, Doug?
So we had the books like airplanes, cars, computers that were separate, and then we had multiple books of that. And so we put the trilogy together. Amazon costs the same for a thin book as it does a thick book, right? And all the advertising.
Mm.
And so the trilogy is nice and simple. It is books like, you probably can't see it, but it's taking the books like the airplanes and the cars and computers, smartphones, and then putting them all together in one place.
I see. Okay.
So then we'll take it and we'll slice and dice it by subject after we're done. So
okay, good. I'm sorry, what age level
please ask a question anytime.
What age level is your book are your books set for?
Good question. We think it's about 3rd grade to 6th grade for English as a first language speakers. But like I said, we really need educators to tell us, hey, is this subject too hard, and help us with what's the big word? I always get it wrong. Pedagogical or something. What's the big word? How you make it all fit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We need help with that. And so that's why we're trying to reach out and connect and say, we just need to know, do you like it? Do you not like it? Right. So here's the catalog. We'll get you all a copy of this. In the catalog, I'm going fast, so I apologize if those who are getting a whiplash right now. There will not be a test at the end of it. So let's see if I can get this back to full size here. But just quickly, you can see, I said, I've spent, in the last 22 years, I spent 12 years outside the US.
Wow.
And about half in Asia, about half in England. And this audience here is the first. So if you've seen The King and I,
yeah,
that it's outlawed in Thailand, but the little boy, the prince that becomes the king of Thailand, that Anna taught, he started the first school, and this school is the first school he started in Thailand. So just a bit of trivia there for those who love trivia.
That's cool.
So I happened to be close by there, went by, and we gave them the books. They presented, the kids liked them. I think they were about 3rd grade to the equivalent of us.
Yeah.
This is a book on air, water, and food that they were presenting. And like I said, they were well received. We had it, and I speak Thai, so we were able to translate it into Thai too. So that was fun.
Very good.
I speak Thai like a 5-year-old. Let's be honest about it. But I have fun with it.
Well, you're above our level.
So where I was going with this is there are 3 programs. You're interested in the science one.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's about over 2,000 pages of ebook pages, 4 hours of videos. Most of them are about 5 minutes long. Airplanes, cars, computers, smartphones, water cycles, nature. We got bugs. We got a lot of videos that are all free. There is a teacher's guide. This is in the email I sent you, Robert, but I'd be happy to give it to whoever else. You can go straight. So some people love YouTube and Google Play, and some people hate it. So for those who like it, there's a QR code. It takes you straight to the free ebook and straight to the free videos. And so you can use this and get the content. For those who don't like to use this, we're in the process of putting it on Google Drive, and we can send you the link. There's no sign-ins. Like I said, there's no string attached. It's like, here you go.
Okay, great. Yeah, I would love to have that, because if you're looking particularly for reviewers, we have a lot of connections with educators, especially STEM educators, and I'm sure we can find people that would love to have your books and review them and send you back good feedback.
We welcome feedback, right? We just, any way we can make it cleaner to it and more clear to the people.
Sure.
You just take your smartphone. If you can do this on the smartphone, for those who like to use this, the QR codes, or like I said, Bob, as soon as I get it, we had little hiccups in getting it on G Drive, but we'll get that all on there, and it'll all be there. And it's a lot of content. I don't want to overwhelm people, but there is I had a copy of it around here somewhere. There is a copy of a teacher's guide that goes along with it. That's got some hand-on experiments and stuff that has been well received in Asia. So we'd love to get Americans using it as well.
Yeah. Great. This is really exciting. It must have, I mean, the dedication that you have for this is phenomenal, because I'm assuming when you went to these countries, you probably had to foot a lot of that yourself as well.
Self-funded, but it's fun, right? And compliments my wife. So, but my wife likes to joke that I write children's books because I'm on the same mental level.
Well, I found that true of being an elementary educator. That works real well for me. That's as far as I could get. So I thought, might as well.
I'm sure she's right. She's a businesswoman, and the first time we went to a Thai school, she's like, look, these book stuff, this is costing us money. I'm not sure I like this. And I said, well, look, we'll take some, we'll print them, we'll give them to the kids, and then you can tell me how you like it. So we went and we looked around, and there weren't any other books. And so when we handed these books that we had printed to the kids, they just treated them like gold. Right? They were just so happy to get these books. We talked to them in English and in Thai, gave the presentation, and the kids just loved it. And my wife turned to me and she said, I'm hooked. Just don't know how to do it.
There you go. That works. That's great.
So that's it. It's a lot of fun, and that's it in a nutshell. Are there any questions?
I don't have any. I can't wait to tell as you know, I have a STEM is Elementary newsletter, and I can't wait to get that out I'll run a special edition just to tell these people how they can get these books and get some reviews in. And I'll include your email or something so that, how would they get back to you? Through an email? Would that be the best way?
Email's the best. I've got some help that helps answer the emails I get. And like I said, we've got 3 ways. They can get them on YouTube and Amazon. They can get them through Google Drive, or they can email us directly. It may take us a little bit to respond back, but we're happy just to email. Yeah. The videos are kind of big, right? But we're just happy to give these out. As a data point, I'm here in Seattle. Boeing's the day job. This is the passion. Right? Till we figure out how to get some donors and get self-funding going. But in Seattle, we were able to connect with Mission Africa. And it's a small nonprofit that's just in April next year is going to take our books to Nigeria. So we're real excited about that. First time we get some of our content to Africa. Yeah. Those aren't necessarily connected, but they have computers, and so we'll figure out that as well. So we'd love to get them to them.
Yeah, Bob. There is also they have a newsletter that folks can sign up for. I've been on rummaging around the websites, having a good time there.
That's great.
I did see that I like the combination, Doug, of having the the books and the video, and then also audio of the same content. So I was browsing some of the English pieces, and I found that to be very, very kind of reinforcing, or to look at something in a different language. How do you really say that, or what's that sound like, or so right. Having someone say it before you read it or try to read it really helps with the making sure it comes out right.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. Now, do you actually distribute physical books also as part of your materials?
So yes, and in fact, with you, and we'd like to, whoever the first 10 people from your organization that email us, we'll give you a free copy.
That's great.
Well, you have a hard copy. It's good. It's worth it for us just to get them out there and get them reviewed, right? So we'd be happy to do that at the first 10, 20 people that email us.
Yeah, because Dick and Paul and I do a lot of seminars and outreach programs, and we're always having resources with us, and we'll put your book right there so people can see it, get their hands on it, and then find a copy of their own on the internet and order it and get back to you on the feedback and stuff. So yeah, we'd love to have hard copies.
Yeah. Give us an address to mail them to, your school or wherever, and just like the first 10 or 20, we'll get those right out to you. It takes about a month once we get them ordered. We get a discount on them. So once we get them ordered, to get them to you. But yeah, we'd love to. We'd love. It's well worth it to us to give you the copies. Every year we print out about $1,000 worth of books, plus or minus, sometimes a couple thousand. And we just give them away to the first people that ask.
Just type your email sometime today in the chat line, and we'll have that, and we'll definitely get a hold of you for that.
All right, I'm gonna try. I can't find the chat line when I'm sharing, but I will look for it.
Right, I think you might have to unshare, but stop sharing. But at the end of the thing, it's fine.
But but it's nice and simple. It's free Alford books with an S at gmail.com. That's one of them. And I'll type another one at the end of this, but that's an easy one.
What was that one again that you just said?
The word free, Free,
Mm-hmm.
Alford, ALF as in Frank,
Right.
ORD, my last name,
Right.
and then books, BOOKS,
Okay.
at gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That works.
That
Yeah.
gets me, and I've got another one I'll put it at the end, but
Yeah.
just so excited to meet with your team, and just think that's so fantastic that that you'll be able to take a look at these books. If there's another comment, is, as you know, the context and the kind of what just drives us to put these together. When Bill Nye, and I think he's great, I love his shows they put together, but the president of Disney kept telling them, hey, add history, add context to your content here. And the Bill Nye show never did. They're fantastic on principle, but if there's an improvement, they could have done better in integrating it and how it applies to life.
Right.
So we learn that lesson, and we do get a criticism occasionally that we're too broad or too much information for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
But we're saying, well, it's like, this is what it takes to integrate, right? So there's some favorite stories, and you have to be a little careful. Offending people around the world have different sensitivities, but I love the story how it started out with making beer in England in giant copper vats that they used to boil what would become beer.
Right.
And then they took that vessel that they used to make the beer, put a lid on it, and made the first steam engine. Right?
Yeah.
And then the steam engine itself was one cylinder, and it actually happened by, he was trying it, Newcomen, and it exploded, and it broke, the pipes broke under the pressure, and the cold water went onto the piston, and that's what pulled it down. So he only had one piston, so he would put the steam in to push it up, and then cold water to pull it down. Well, that worked beautifully for 50, 70 years for coal miners, owners that had a coal mine, because it took so much coal to run it. Well, fast forward 70 years that they've been using it in coal mines. He worked at the university in Glasgow, and he was the maintenance guy.
Yeah.
And they brought him a Newcomen steam engine, and it was broken. And they said, hey, can you fix this? We need this. And so he started looking at it, and he goes, I can make a better one of these. And that guy's James Watts.
Yeah.
With a guy down in Birmingham, makes the Watts steam engine. Right. And so, like, to me, that's just cool.
Yeah.
So one more quick digression. So in St. Helens, where they actually came up with the process in England, where they came up with the process of how to make float glass. That's a whole nother subject. But they were taking glass in cylinders, and they were wavies. They weren't very clear. But those workers that worked at the glass, there's all this smoke. And so what did they do? They went and drank beer. So you go from the people that made glass drank beer, beer goes into steam makes a steam engine goes to the Industrial Revolution.
Right. Have you remember a TV show back in the 70s called Connections?
James Burke.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. That's it right there.
Yeah, he's a mentor. I've never met him, but I love his work. And definitely with that connecting all this, right?
Exactly.
So that's part of what we want to do in this book on Tech Links. That's what it does. It tries to connect these threads that people may not have known about, right?
This is awesome. Yeah, this is really good.
And it's to us, it's all science, and it's just fun.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Doug, you got me wagging my tail. I can't wait to see this thing. It'll be good.
And we are so happy to engage with the Ohio STEM group, and we've got so much content. We're just bursting at the seams. We want to share, and we just love to figure out a way to get people using it. So,
well, we'll definitely be promoting this all over the place. We'll get the word out for you.
Really appreciate it. Let me show you a few more. And I'm totally in the zone. Totally, it's called the writer's zone. We just lose track of time. Please keep me, Robert, and let me know how I'm doing with time here.
You're fine. You're fine.
Right, but So here's the teacher's guide that we got. I don't know if I can make that smaller, right? Where the international teachers, at least, they wanted, so that's all the content in this book.
Mm-hmm.
But then they wanted to have examples of hey, give us some things we're doing with this.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's a lot of experiments that teachers can easily do
Very good.
in here. And so we've had a lot of fun with those, and in sharing what teachers can use. And like I said, we just love feedback. The ones they like to do and the ones that are, could the explanation be better? Please tell us.
Yeah. The hands-on stuff is so crucial. Yeah, absolutely. That's, of course, when you're in STEM, that to me is what it's about.
No, I agree. So that's the teacher's guide. And then we get into individual subjects, excuse me, individual subjects. Like, so my background, of course, is in airplanes. So there had to be a book on airplanes, right? We try to keep it simple for the kids. And then, but then in addition to that, it's got about the wedge shape and why are airplanes bent back. So we can talk about that as just an interesting data point. So the airplanes the airplanes the Wright brothers made with cotton, right? With cotton cloth,
right,
were straight wings and propellers with pistons for a lot of years. Well, a guy in England came up with an idea, and it took him a decade or more to figure it out, but to take that same propeller, and instead of putting it just on to power the airplane, take that propeller and squish the air and send it in a chamber, ignite the chamber, and put the exhaust out the other side. Now you got a jet engine.
Right.
So it sounds great, but if you hook up a jet engine to a straight wing, you'll get flutter and it'll break apart and you'll crash.
Yeah.
And so they couldn't figure it out for a long time. Well, fast forward to World War II, the Germans had massive air tunnels, wind tunnels, and they figured out how to do the swept back wing. And if you swept back the wing, you delay the vortexes of air going supersonic, and it won't crash the plane. And so the reason they have swept back wings is because that's how you keep the air from making the wing break apart with flutter. But we didn't figure it out. The Nazis did, but then they took Boeing over at the end of the war and said, hey, why are these guys doing this? I don't know, but we're going to do it. So all the planes today have swept back wings that we learned from that. But it's interesting that technology that we still use today. And then you go forward and say, well, why don't planes go faster? Well, they can't go faster because it's the speed of sound, the commercial ones, right? And so capturing that for the kids, but it's basically just 4 forces. And so we really like one-page summaries. Just get the concept on one page. Here it is. You got thrust, lift, right? Gravity and drag, and that's it. Planes aren't any harder than that. And when we can all understand that, then we can just get together and have a good chat. So
this is excellent. This is excellent stuff. It's really good.
So I've done too much talking. Any questions? Anything I can help you with to understand this better, please?
Yeah, Doug, I was wondering when couldn't tell if you could tell from your either data or requests that you get in, but it would seem like there would have been an ideal opportunity during all the COVID schools and isolation that having some resource materials, especially that you could distribute electronically or download audios would have been really handy.
Still would be handy, I think. Still would be very welcome.
I was taking that time where I was unemployed because the aircraft industry went.
Yeah.
I was using that time to write a lot of this. And so I didn't have the material done. And so unfortunately I missed it. I wish I'd had it all at the beginning, what I have today, but I used that time to write it. But you're exactly right. I would think this would be perfect for virtual, for online classes, right?
Yeah.
One can even see it now with a teacher using the materials, since it's a somewhat totally different approach from maybe the standard textbook they're using. Use some of these things as quote homework for the kids, where you're looking at similar topics, but a totally different presentation and
Very good point, Dave. Thank you.
a lot of the connections and that sort of thing that you would be a really neat refresher for kids, as well as then picking up 18 more kind of points of information, the interdisciplinary sort of thing.
Yeah.
So here's, we're not going to play much of it, but I just wanted to show you, in addition to all the eBooks, we've got hours and hours of videos, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to Air Water and Food Video Course. Read, drink, and eat.
The teachers have lots of wasted food at the school lunchtime.
So I'll leave you to look at yourself, but it's fun. It's the brief history of this. I lived in the Philippines for a year, and when I was there, I met lots of contacts, and the person that puts so I write the story. We get anybody we can to draw. We needed an illustrator, and there was a medical student. Now he's a doctor in the Philippines, but he was a starving medical student. He knew how to do the drawings. He did the drawings. His cousins, the guy that actually compiles the video, and his daughter's the one that does the audio, because I knew that so many of the ones that download it online from YouTube, they don't want to hear an old guy. They want to hear a young girl.
Yeah.
So I thought that's perfect. And it works out. So it's a fun international team. We do so much of it just by reaching each other through the internet, right?
Right.
And but it's fun how the evolution of this, and it's a fun story about air, water, and food, and how we breathe, drink, and eat, and just try to keep it simple and have lots of fun for the kids. But there's a video that the kids seem to like.
And I like the international flavor of the characters too.
Yeah.
That's important. I like that.
I think it's very, very important. It's when you get an opportunity to live in a country where you are not the majority, right? I think it gives you that unique perspective. One quick data point: I was living in Manila, the Philippines, and we have driver drives us because I don't want to drive there, and we're driving, and there's a big billboard cut right to it, like Europe has an economic union, the European Union, 600 million people in Asia, 10 countries, from Thailand all the way down to Indonesia, have joined together. It's called ASEAN. And while I was there in Manila, they had the first ever ASEAN Education Summit. And so I got to go, and there's an audience of 300 people. 2 people in the audience have non-black hair, myself and a guy from Australia. And we just got to meet people from around ASEAN, these 10 countries. And back then in 2014, I only had a few of the books, and so I gave out what I had. But it was interesting to see, I was sitting at my table, a gentleman in the government of Vietnam, and he said, hey, you need to give us values, give the kids values as well as education. And I said, okay, we can do that. He said, don't be preachy, don't be religious, but just the kids, they're spending so much time on, and because they're learning English in Vietnam, and they're getting on their smartphones, they wanted to have some interesting stories, but also have a moral or a value to it. And so we've got a bunch of books that do that as well, like a turtle that jumps and a hummingbird that's humble. And so those are another niche of the books we have. So I've done a lot of talking and a lot of rapid fire, but I hope it's interesting to you.
Yeah. Doug, on the website, there was a mention about some of your materials also being as YouTube linked.
Yes.
Is that?
Yeah. If you when you go into the catalog, let me pull it back up here. There's a QR code to the YouTube channels. There's 2 of them. One's English and one's called SciQ, or Science IQ. Could think of a better way to say it. So when you get the catalog, you can just go in, click it with your smartphone. It should come up, and you can go right to it. Or if you search for the channel SciQ in my name, it should come up. And there's, I think, 70 videos there that are all free. A lot of the English ones are on something called Free English,
Mhm.
Did I answer your question, sir?
Yeah. Now, to give somebody I guess a search strategy or something that we would recommend to somebody is
Take some notes.
going through the catalog. The easiest way to sort of I guess rummage about the collection to see what the pieces are, and then
Yes, that's the easiest right now. If you have a better way that we can present that or communicate it, I have a niece that loves to do editing. And so she coined a phrase. She said, I have to take your engineer ease and translate it into human. I don't take offense to that. I agree and I laugh. Engineers have a certain way of thinking, right? And so any way we can learn how to communicate with people like yourselves would just be so welcome, sir. We'd really appreciate that. We want to make it as easy as possible. We got lots of good data. I'm not sure it's packaged the right way it can be used. And I know there's going to need to be lots of updates, right? We're happy to do anything we can do to help make it easier.
Yeah,
I'm going to scroll down to, sorry for those who I'm making dizzy. I want to talk about one more part of this, and the only way now to get there is all the way through the book. So you can see the different programs, the English, the reading. So there are a couple more things I wanted to say. So on Google Play, there's about 20,000 positive comments. So that's nice. We don't get any contact detail for these people, but you get the odd ones that just, oh, I hate this, don't do this, but you get a lot of them. There was a comment on Google Play that said, I always thought I was stupid at science, but now I know I'm not. after they read our books. And it's like, that's one of the nicest, energizing comments that we could have ever received. We just so appreciate that. And as we get down or frustrated with some of our challenges in getting this content together, we remember that comment that someone left us on Google Play. So you can see within the catalog, you can get the free ebook, you can get the free video, or we've got other channels for the people that don't like to do it that way. Apologies. I think it's way at the end, but so all kinds of subjects, right? I lived in Phoenix. We got the story there about the canals in Phoenix, which was fascinating. My granddaughter wants a book on cats. My grandson wanted a book on, I'm trying to find it, wanted a book on dinosaurs. And so we put them two together. The book's called Cats and Dinosaurs. There's two separate stories. Lots of English, lots of science.
Yes, definitely with the use of the Spanish and such would be great for the U.S. student who has
we've got
taking Spanish and be able to read and hear the text. This is the Thai version. There's Hindi versions, right? So we've got translated into 15 languages. I don't know whether you can see this, but this is the Spanish. So the teacher's guide is translated into Spanish. And then we got four of the books are in a Spanish volume as well. So those international versions are out there. We need to get more Spanish, but we got to start. And you can see that.
Have you thought about presenting or running a booth at the National Science Teachers Association?
I know nothing about that, sir. Tell me more.
Oh my God! Well, that's huge. That's the group that's the professional organization for science teachers. And if you could do a presentation or run a booth there during their national conference, I'm not sure where it is. They also have regional conferences, and you would just be a smash there, especially since your content's free and it's so well done. You would tell
me the name again, please.
It's the NSTA, National Science Teachers Association.
I have not heard of this group, National.
Oh, they're huge. They're huge.
Yeah, and then, well, then also there's individual state organizations of that,
Fantastic. Yeah, I need to reach out. I know
Okay.
nothing about it. Thank
So
you.
we'll send you links to that stuff.
Fantastic. So I wanted to introduce that we do have international language versions, right? So it's whoever we can find to help us.
Yeah.
We pay some to translate, but a lot of the person that did all the Indonesian books sat at that conference in Manila with me back in 2014, and he's done a lot of books. He just does it for free just to give them away. So he just helps us.
Great.
So
This has been really good. This is really a great webinar. Good information, good stuff here.
yes, I see where they would be useful too, especially the foreign language ones where you have some kind of Peace Corps volunteer program that's going to a country that you have the resources for. It would be
right.
good way for them to practice the language as well as study the teachable material.
Right.
So the NSTA is a hot topic right now because their conference is in March, the 22nd to the 25th in Atlanta, but proposals are due this week by the 30th.
Oh. I'll see what I can do. Maybe the next year.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's
Plus-
nice to know about them.
Plus they have the regionals.
Right, and the regionals. That sounds fantastic too.
Yeah. Or you can also apply to get a booth. I'm sure they would take you in as a booth as well.
All right. Yeah, the first year especially would be great to go as a booth, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. That's probably not that hard to get a booth, right?
No.
So
Where's it's in that you said it's in Atlanta. Okay.
Atlanta.
it's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and with them, all states are very much concerned with their, with the national standards and that sort of thing. So even being able to pick up with a Washington State or a Utah or whatever, state conference,
Yeah.
you'd be
Right.
having some of the same conversations with those folks.
We're Dick and Paul are members of the Science Education Council, Science Educators Council of Ohio, SECO, whatever. I forget the initials, but you guys could push that stuff there too.
Yeah.
Dick, I called you Dave earlier. I apologize about that. I got the first letter right. Sorry about that.
Another group that might be interesting to work with, and it's at least for us out your way, they're in Beaverton, Oregon, is Vernier Science Education. Actually, they changed their name last year. They work with science programs to help provide lab equipment.
Vernier, like the caliper.
Like the
Yeah.
calipers, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
all
what's in
kinds
their
of
logo.
sensors and measuring devices.
Yeah. So they have lots of stuff that they're selling, but it would be interesting maybe to work with them on some kinds of measurement things that you might do with these elementary kids. Yeah.
Measurements on our long list of books we want to write.
Right.
Right. That's a fascinating subject, and we haven't started that one.
Yeah, they do a lot with the metering devices and monitoring air condition or air quality and amounts of chemicals and in substance.
Oh, it sounds very interesting.
So do you have a writing team besides yourself? I mean, you must have some group that helps you with all this stuff.
So I have a team, international team that helps me with the research, right? We're a pretty small organization. I get the ideas, I get the research, they do the research, I compile it, and then put the draft out there and let everybody review it, right? And then we finish it. So it's the lady that did, I was looking for that book, that did the artwork for Cat Cousins is from India. We've never met her, but it's all done online. But she said just excellent artwork. So
Mm.
we've got a lot of books that were made. So many of the people that download them are on smartphones, and so a lot of the illustrations are very simple because they need to be on very small screens,
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
3x4 or whatever they are, right?
Yeah.
And so, but as we print the books, we need more elaborate. So we get anybody we can to do illustrations for us.
Okay.
We take all help. We're not proud.
Great.
With your international sites and partners, how common is it to find available, like you mentioned, smartphones or iPad kind of things, so they could then take advantage of the electronic books?
It's astonishing that the people that are downloading them, they may only make $3 or $4 a day, but they have smartphones, right? And so they're able to access it and pay for it and get it down. So that's the niche right now. So many of the books are being downloaded by people with smartphones. Did I answer your question, Dick?
Yeah. Because I guess I saw that eBooks thing as a very well, no need to mail it, just zap it. Or then in terms of being able to have all kids have their own copy, again, without having to pay for the freight of moving tons of paper around.
Yeah.
Instant way to get it and easy way to distribute to all kids.
And
no matter what your numbers are.
We're hoping that when we give it to the teacher electronically, then she can give it to the kids, right?
Yeah.
Or we have a way that they can get a copy, and so they don't just see it in the classroom. They own a copy, and they have it. It's free. We've struggled with U.S. teachers with, it's my fault, not theirs, just trying to see how we communicate with how we align all the things we have with the curriculum that they need to teach. And I know some districts you've got to go through and get all the materials vetted right at a district level before you can show it. And so we're struggling with that right now. And we tried to at the state level, but I've not been successful. And in a lot of countries, it's even the Ministry of Education's got to buy off on these things. And we've tried several times and have failed at every attempt. We'll keep trying, but it's hard. It's hard to get people to say, hey, this is something new. Let's find out a way and let you use it. We sent our books to Barbados, and he noticed the book on hummingbirds, and he said, oh, we can't use these books. He said, that's a bad omen in Barbados. You can't have a hummingbird. And it's like, okay, so don't use that one. Right? But what about all the rest? Well, we'll get back to you, right? And so a lot of roadblocks, a lot of hurdles. We keep trying. We just want to help. We got lots of fun content.
Have you tried to standardize your books, like go through the national science standards and see the NGSS standards? Are you aware of the NGSS standards?
We're aware of them, and we've looked at them, but we haven't really aligned the books to them.
Okay, that would be a big tipping point, because, like you said, teachers have to follow standards.
Right, the NG, is that what it stands for? New generation or something?
It's next generation science standards, yeah. And a lot of teachers, they're tied to those. They have to teach those standards.
But again, Bob, and another strategy with the in particular U.S. teachers, scan the catalog and pick out those books that do match, and have the kids do them just as at home,
right?
Informal reading and that sort of thing.
But I'm saying if they were already aligned somehow, if they could go through the catalog, or there was some way to to pick out lessons that were specifically aligned to the NGSS, and they could say, okay, well, I can cover this with this right here. This would be great. That would really help get the book out.
We need to do that, Bob. We haven't done that yet. We need to. Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely something we need to align.
Right.
That's a barrel by itself.
Oh yeah. It's huge commitment, but the payoff would be, I think, it'd be.
Well, especially since you're sort of marketing to the world, it's kind of as long as the information is accurate, you got a great stuff. With the US, the notion of like through the PTA organizations or some independent private school kind of things would be, they have a lot more flexibility and pick it up, or again, the parents and on the search for interesting, accurate, kind of materials would be a good fit.
Great idea, Dick. Thank you.
Or where you have a lot of in particular Spanish speaking elementary kids. Again, your whole Spanish series would be a neat anyway for them to keep up with the content or keep up with their class. And get content presented in two ways.
People ask, why do we do this, right? And it's pretty simple. I heard the story years ago about two young boys that their dad brought home a little flying toy, a Planophore, and the Wright brothers were hooked in ever since, right? It just took that spark. If you look at Henry Ford, people say, how did you figure out how to make a moving assembly line to put your cars together? He said, I went to a meat packing plant and watched them disassemble pigs into pork.
Yeah.
Did it in reverse. Right.
Yeah.
If you talk to Bill Gates, he said, how did you get this idea to be so obsessed about software and have become one of the richest person in the world? He said it was a magazine cover that had an article about this box, the Altair, and I was hooked ever since, right? So one magazine cover. And so these small events, we want to be that interesting spark that creates this life-altering event in a positive way for kids. That's all we're trying to do.
Right. Well, okay. Guys, you have any more questions for?
Well, yeah, just again with the newsletter, we kind of you're trying to tease folks, about source. Doug, are there any, I guess write-ups as a follow-up to this? Any kind of previous descriptive pieces that you have written that talk about the features and the various formats and
I've got a few. I
generic topics, that sort of thing, that we could then,
Dick.
We could then kind of pick and choose sentences and paragraphs out of it to create a short summation of this session, as well as then provide links to the catalog and
give me a week or so to
newsletter and that sort of thing.
Great, that'd be awesome. And then we can put out, tell them that this video is available, and then send your links. It would be a really nice package for people to see.
Yeah, because it's kind of hard for us to capture it and summarize it, not knowing all of the nitty-gritty features that make sense.
I've got some write-ups. I can send you what I have.
Yeah.
Great. Super.
Yeah. Another kind of link with things would be there are organizations also of various foreign language teachers, in each of the states. And again, where some of your materials would hit different countries or subjects of sorts. It would fit really nicely.
Yeah. Okay. Doug, you have anything else you want to throw in?
No, just Bob, Dick, and Paul. Thank you so much for your time, and the other people that see this. We have lots of content. We're happy to share. Appreciate feedback.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's been really great. This has been very
super.
exciting.
Yes.